Right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing Kragnos, and by we I mean me and my Age of Sigmar right-hand man, Mr. Grant Fraser.
Hello there.
Hello again. So, massive thank you to Games Workshop, of course, for sending us out Kragnos free of charge to review. And I don't know about you, Grant, but this feels like there's a lot.
I still believe the theory that this is two books they've jammed together into one.
Yeah, because you mentioned there was 5 mini stories, one of which had Allarielle in.
Yeah, so there's the 5 short stories, and the covers of all 5, well, the 4 that we have books for, were the covers of those books, and it just seemed to me like there's too much in here for one book, so I think we maybe should have had a Broken Realms Allarielle.
Yeah. And especially because there's so many factions in this.
Yeah.
Now,
but I think
it kind of makes sense because of the delay and everything, right? Obviously, we know Age of Sigmar 3 is coming. We know that they're revealing it, I think, this Saturday.
Well, yeah, by the time this goes live, it'll be that night.
Yes, so they're revealing it tonight.
Yes, 6 p.m. In the UK, I believe, is the time.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see what the other faction is, but that's not what this video is for. This video is to cover this book and almost everything in this book. We're not going to cover Kragnos, are we?
Well, no, because he hasn't changed from the previous video.
And nothing makes it any better. In fact, something in this book makes it worse, and that is the point value for Kragnos.
it's where we said he was going to be, and he's too high.
760 points.
I know why they pointed him there. It's the 2+ save, I think, is what did it, and the damage output. I know people will make him work. They will. Right now, I just think he's too easy avoided or taken off before he can get there to do his work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, should we just quickly run through the points, actually, seeing as we're here, and then we'll go and talk about some of the other stuff. So, in this book, right, if you're a Sylvaneth player, you want this book. If you're a Gloomspite Gitz player, chances are you're going to have fun with this book.
Yeah, if you haven't picked up the White Dwarfs, or you don't want to carry them all with you, this just compiles that nicely for you.
Yeah. And then if you're a Slaanesh player, there's a couple of things in here. If you play Skaven, or if you play Cities, or Beasts of Chaos, there's like 3 things for each of those armies in here. And then, of course,
which is exciting, because Games Workshop never does anything for Beasts of Chaos.
And they never do anything for Cities.
Well, there's a city in every Broken Realms book.
Yeah. So, anyway, points.
Yeah.
So, Beast Lord, 95. Jabberslith, 165. The Butcher Herd, 140. The 2 new Witch Hunters are 115 each. Kragnos at 760. Oof.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Which also...
Sorry, go on.
Means he's going to be almost a nightmare to fit into a Sons of Behemoth army, if he can even fit at all. Because you could have one giant of 500, then him, then a couple of
you'd have to take a squad of 3 man crushers, a single man crusher, 1 mega gargant, and then him.
Yeah,
that's the only way it would fit.
Which isn't great.
No. You've got Gloomspite battalions. You've got Moonbiter Squiglanch 90, Moon Jumper Stampede 140, Grimscuttle Nest and Grimscuttle Skitter Swarm 140 each. The Grimscuttle Spider Cluster is 140 and the Stomping Mega Mob is 160. For the Head Knights of Slaanesh, you've got Dexcessa, the Talon of Slaanesh, 280, and Synessa, the Voice of Slaanesh, at 260. And the Exquisite Pursuit Battalion at 130. Sorry, Dexcessa is 280. Kroak is 430 points. And then for Skaven, the Ratachaks Doom Coven is 130. And for Sylvaneth, Allarielle is 740. Now, that's an increase. I think it's fair. when we get to a war.
She's definitely got some changes and some nice improvements.
Yeah. The Warsong Revenant, the new guy with a flute, is 275. And
I think he might be fine.
yes. And then Dryker's Spite Grove is 120. So, let's have a look at all of the... I was going to say data slates. These are War Scrolls. It's been... just to point out as well, beautiful pictures of Kragnos. The 2 Slaanesh models look amazing. There's a lot of stuff on them. I'm not going to pick them up straight away. The Warsong Revenant is beautiful. Kroak is beautiful. I've definitely ordered them.
Excellent.
I'm not getting Kragnos. There's not enough in it for me.
No, he doesn't fit in either my Ogres or my Bone Splitters, so right now I don't see why I would pick him up.
No.
That could all change.
Yeah, possibly in 3.0, but we'll see.
I mean, that's something to bear in mind with this review. This is reviewing it as 2.0.
Yeah.
But we're literally weeks away from 3.0.
For all we know, behemoths might, for example, I remember when 7th edition 40k came out and gargantuan creatures had a built-in feel no pain and were immune to instant death.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to say that the behemoth keyword grants things like that. We simply don't know.
No.
We simply don't know
everything.
that. Oh, absolutely, because if you consider, I mean, we've already seen Nagash go through the roof, and then all of these big guys seem to be getting up pointed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We simply don't know how they're how 3.0 will affect what we're seeing. We're literally analysing these as Age of Sigmar 2.0.
Yeah, which is all we can do until we know more.
Yeah. So, let's start with the Gloomspite Gitz. My favourite army. And it's only good things. So they've updated...
Yeah, it's also things that should have been in the Gloomspite Gitz book.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially the Loon Shrine. The Loon Shrine has been my biggest bugbear with that army, and this fixes it.
Absolutely. So if you're familiar with the Loon Shrine, you know that at the end of your turn you roll a dice for stabbers or shooters, and on a 4+ you get half the unit back. Then, when White Dwarf started releasing all of these new allegiances for the Jaws of Mork, and I'm not going to go into details on these, they are literally copy and paste. Glog's Mega Mob and the Grimscuttle Tribes allegiances, right? They each said that you could replace the rule to replenish stabbers and shooters with something from that allegiance. So trogs, squigs, or spiders.
Yeah.
Now, you get it, right, for stabbers and shooters. But then, if your general has the squig keyword, the trog keyword, or the spider keyword, you can actually just have that then built in.
Yeah.
So you can get, for example, like I often run a squig as my general, right? Mm-hmm. I can get both stabbers and hoppers, boingrots, or herds back.
Yeah, which is so good.
Yeah. So that is an absolute positive change for Gloomspite Gitz. Great. Definitely. It's not going to put them up on any higher on the tier list. It's nice that it's there. But then again...
I mean, they are still firmly propping up the tier list, I'm pretty sure.
What?
I'll have to double...
At the top?
I'll have to double check, but I'm fairly certain Gloomspite are propping everyone else up right at the bottom.
Oh, okay, right. I was going to say... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Don't watch the battle report I've just released today either, Grant.
Okay.
That's tomorrow for you now.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I'm not going to cover the rest of the battalions and stuff. Not that much has changed, if anything at all. But what has changed is our fair lady, Alarielle the Everqueen. And Lucy did have a quick read of this, and she said, I don't think she's changed that much, so I don't understand why she's went up in points. Shall we explain why she's gone up in points, or why we think this is fair, Grant?
Yeah, I think we should, because I'm not 100% sure it's fair, but I can fully see the justification as to why she's gone up. I have one niggle with her War Scroll still, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there.
Okay, so the first thing, Spear of Kurnoth. It's no longer D6 damage. It starts at 6, and granted, it does degrade, right?
Yeah.
Which means that when you are taking wounds, you are doing likely less damage. But I mean, even when you've took 9 or 10 wounds, rolling a 3 is average.
Yeah, so you're still... And she's got multiple ways to heal herself, so hopefully won't be at the bottom brackets that often.
No, absolutely not. In her hero phase, right, you can heal up to 2d6 wounds allocated to this model.
just like that. Just roll 2 dice.
2d6 wounds. Yes, that could be 2.
Point. It's not a spell. It's... Well, the average is, what, 7?
7.
Yeah,
so you're getting half of her back every turn nearly. She can heal... in addition, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to every other friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 30.
No, that doesn't bring back, though, does it?
No, it does not.
No. So you are just healing, but that's a huge range.
But if you're running Tree Lords and you're running Kurnoths, that's massive. So that's massive. Yeah. Living Battering Ram is a little bit different now, so you don't have to be in terrain. It just does wounds on the charge.
Right.
Because before, I think you had to be hidden in the terrain for it to trigger.
Okay.
Now...
I don't think I've ever played against Allarielle, so...
Well, I don't think whenever we've done it, we've never charged into terrain. It's just better the way it is. It was too specific before. So just on a 2 to 5, you're doing D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, you're suffering. You're doing D6. It's just better.
100%.
Soul Amphore is pretty much the same, apart from the unit has to be set up within 9. I think it was around 9 or 12 before. They have to be wholly within 9 and more than 9 from enemy models now. So you've got to be careful with the placement of it to do that.
And you've still got, that still means that she comes effectively with 20 more Dryads. That's what you're going to be summoning most of the time.
Yeah.
Which takes another 200 points off her total. You've always got to remember that when you're playing.
Yeah, and I mean, a Tree Lord's 200. I think Kurnoths are like 200, 220.
Yeah, and they're all around about that. Just the 20 bodies to suddenly bring in additional is just so good for objectives.
Absolutely. So obviously don't forget that discount. Yeah, she was 600, 400 essentially because of that. She's 740, essentially she's 540-ish.
Yeah.
But, new rule. Swirling Glowspites. This model can retreat and still shoot and or charge later in the same turn. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she always had the potential to be quite a beat stick. I think now she just really can do the work now.
When you consider that you can use Living Battering Ram again to just charge back in and do more.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, you come out, you heal yourself back up, so your great antlers are hitting harder, then you charge right back in.
Absolutely. Talent of Dwindling slays a model if you roll a 6 if you happen to have done any damage with it. I think that is pretty much the same.
Handy.
Sorry?
It's always handy to have something like that. One time you need, like, it's something that can easily be forgotten, but that one time it could be clutch.
Absolutely. Magic, she can cast 3 spells. Lucy did inform me she could cast 3 spells already. But she can unbind 3. I don't know if that changed. I think she was maybe 2 before. However, the big thing is she knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, Metamorphosis, which we'll get to in a second. In addition, she knows all the spells from the lore of Deepwood.
Which is something we're seeing more and more, is this...
The bigger models, obviously... The first place that we saw it was...
She could always unbind 3, I've just checked.
All right, okay. So
it was always 3.
We first saw this in the Bone Reaper book, where Nagash and Arkan just had access to all the spells.
Oh yeah, that was I forgot that was the first time.
This is, to my knowledge, this is the first time that another wizard has been able to do that just in their war scroll like that.
I think Kroak could maybe.
but that's Kroak. Fair enough. other than somebody that was like that dominant, other than Nagash and Kroak, I don't know if Fate Weaver could. Maybe.
I don't think so.
But like that's so good because you can put her in any situation, and she can do that. She knows 3 spells. Imagine, right? You can use 3 spells from the Deepwood Law, right? But then you just use your Branch Witch or Wraith to then use your Mystic Shield or your Arcane Bolt. It just felt before, when you had Allarielle, you had the 1 spell that you needed from the Deepwood, you had her own, which was situational, and then you had a throwaway Arcane Bolt or Mystic Shield.
Yeah.
Now, you can just cast 3 spells from Deepwood.
Which I think is great on these big, like we say, god-level casters, that they would know their own spell lore. It's effectively their own lore. So
yeah, exactly.
They should know everything.
Exactly. So that is a fantastic change, I think. Bearing in mind, right, that she heals 2d6 and then could cast Regrowth on herself.
Yeah, she's going to be one of these. If you don't kill her outright, and then she's got the hero phase coming up after, she's just going to come back at you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Metamorphosis has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 16. Roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll, and on 3+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay. In addition, if that unit is destroyed by the mortal wounds caused by the spell, you can remove the last slain model from play, and you can set 1 Awakened Wildwood terrain feature wholly within 12 of that slain model, more than 1 inch from any other model's terrain features or objectives. Great.
Yeah, more woods, more good.
And then the command ability, Duran's Wrath. If this model is in your army, you can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, you can reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 14 until the end of the phase. I think it was reroll all wounds, but it was once per game.
Okay.
I think so that's what it was. So,
yeah.
Is it better? Yes and no, because you can do it more times, but it's not as effective. And I think that's a fair balance.
Yeah.
So at 740 points, I think she's actually right where she needs to be.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what Sylvaneth lists look like with her in it.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be taking up a lot more space than she did before, and can she pull the weight? I think theoretically she can.
Yeah, especially if you charging in, doing the damage.
Yeah, I think you have to play aggressive with her now. I think she needs to be in the middle of the table, fighting to make her points back.
Especially considering she's healing, she hopefully, as long as you don't get something big double turning her, you can probably survive.
Like the old Frostlord on Stonehorn.
Yeah, or Kragnos.
Yeah. Well, Kragnos will probably do it in 1 turn, though, in fairness.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you should have enough Woods and Dryads so that Kragnos doesn't get in first.
No, absolutely. So I think if you play aggressive, but be aware of what your opponent has.
Yeah, aggressive but measured. You can't afford to have her sit at the back and support, but you can't throw it away either.
Yeah. Next up is the Warsong Revenant. 275 points. Was it 275?
Yeah, it's 275.
At first glance, I thought, maybe not.
Yeah, but I think the more that I read it, I think he's probably right.
Yeah.
You could maybe tweak it a little bit, but I think he's cool. I think he's good. If
you consider things like what am I thinking? Like Lord Celestin's on Dracoth, Liege Kavalos, things like that. I feel he's slightly better than that, so obviously putting him at like 275 points is probably about right. So, movement of 8, decent. 7 wounds and a 5-up save. 5-up's not the best, but
no.
We've got, for melee attack, Spearing Vines, range 3, which is good.
Yeah, that's big.
5 attacks, 3s, -1 and 2 damage. Like, most little wizards and stuff can't fight this well. He can fight better than the Lord Celestin.
Yeah. God, our sound is so bad.
I know. I don't know why I'm comparing it to that, but like Celestins should be like Space Marine captains, man.
Exactly, yeah. No, this guy will definitely hold his own in combat.
Alarielle's song, add 1 to their bravery and -1 for enemies within 12. Whatever.
Yeah.
No one cares about bravery at the minute.
No.
However, Arboreal Cloak. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. On a 4+, it is negated.
Yeah, so that offsets our 5-up save quite good.
Yeah, and obviously if you stick him in cover, he's got a 4 at least, and then a 4 shrug, so he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
However, why does this guy get this next rule, Grant?
I don't know, and it really, really upsets me.
Wildwood Revenants. Add 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for this model whilst it's within 9 of an awakened Wildwood. Put that on Allarielle's scroll.
Exactly. Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah. However, he can cast 2 spells, which is decent.
Yeah.
Correct us if I'm wrong, but he's the only 2 caster in the Sylvaneth army because your Witch and your Wraith only cast 1.
Yeah, and your Tree Lord Ancient's only 1 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why Allarielle was often used, because you could actually cast multiple spells.
Yep. So it knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, Unleash Swarm, which is its own spell, which is a slightly different variation of Unleash Spites. But it knows all of the spells from Lore of the Deepwood.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. That's why I think he's worth his points, but it's a little bit strange.
Yeah, he's got +1 to cast. He's a 2-cast character. He knows all the spells, so he's got that versatility. He's got the 4+ shrug. He's got a 4 save if you stick him in cover. You probably want to be near your Wildwoods.
Yeah,
and you
want that bonus. So,
and he's not great in combat, but he can defend himself.
Yeah, I think if I'm writing a Sylvaneth list, he's going in it.
If Allarielle's not,
yeah, I don't think he can justify both.
No,
that's like 1,000 points. But yeah, if you're not wanting to run Allarielle, then I would think you take the Revenant.
Yeah. So, speaking of Sylvaneth, of course, Awakened Wildwoods have changed, Grant. So
this was unexpected.
I understood that Awakened Wildwoods, and we've got 2 sets of these, but we haven't built them yet, right? Awakened Wildwoods consisted of 3 to 6 terrain pieces previously, so you could build quite a big Wildwood.
Yeah.
Now it's 1 to 3 scenery pieces. So you can make it smaller to fit into smaller gaps, which goes with your theory that they might be including a lot more terrain stuff, because why would they need to make the Wildwoods smaller? Well, to fit in a more terrain-heavy board.
Mm-hmm. And that's saying these woods already were smaller because you could just put 3 small bits together and make a smaller wood. So I think this is a great change. I think 1 piece being just a little Wildwood, you're just going to see there's going to be so much stronger, I think, with this. And Sylvaneth need a little boost, and I think this is going to get their woods all over the table.
Well, how would you feel if I told you that Sylvaneth can trace line of sight through them?
What?
Yes.
So you could take bow hunters and shoot into 1 wood?
And shoot through the wood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, they've changed it. Visibility between 2 models. It has to be more than 3 inches through the wood to block visibility, right? Rather than an inch that it used to be. However, visibility to or from models with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more is not blocked by the Awakened Wildwood. So your Tree Lords and Allarielle can be seen over it, and the opponent can be seen over it as well. However, visibility from units with the Sylvaneth keyword is not blocked by an Awakened Wildwood.
Yeah, that's good. I misheard you for a second. I thought you meant you could shoot into one wood, and it came out another one.
Oh, no.
I was about to absolutely lose my mind.
But that's not all. So Vengeful Forest Spirits, at the end of the charge phase, you roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of it, and on a 6, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. What about if there was a wizard within 6 of those woods, and that happened to trigger on a 4+?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very good change for the Awakened Wildwoods, I think.
100%, it is. Yeah. and another like little benefit to it is you don't need to buy like 4 boxes of Wildwoods anymore.
No. 2's probably all you're going to need.
Exactly. And it gives you plenty of flexibility and options to put them where you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. The battalion that we've got is Dryker's Spite Grove, which is Dryker and 2 units of Spite Revenants. Doesn't cap them at 5. I believe you can go up to 20 with Spite Revenants.
Pretty sure you can, yeah.
So that's pretty decent. Now, I always found Spite Revenants were a little bit underwhelming, but what if all of their attacks had -1 rend?
Well, it's not going to hurt them, that's for sure.
No. So I think that's an okay battalion if you're going along the lines of a Bravery Bomb.
Yeah.
And especially if you have larger units of Spite, it's only going to be good.
And it might see them take the table in place of their more commonly seen Tree Revenant cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Moving on, because there's tons in this book. We've got Dexcessa and Synessa, the Talon and Voice of Slaanesh.
Mm-hmm.
So, both fantastically beautiful models.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly complex.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I would have heart palpitations if I had to paint one of these.
Well, you're the one with the Slaanesh army, so you might be painting one.
I don't enjoy it, though.
Well, I can't help you there.
So, Dexcessa, or Dexcessa, movement 12, 10 wounds, 4+ save, bravery 10. Typical sort of not quite greater demon.
Yeah, like demon princey kind of level.
Yeah. So, he is not bad in combat at all. Scourge of Slaanesh gives you 4 attacks at range 3, 2s to hit, 3s to wound, -1 and 2 damage. Very consistent at hitting and wounding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Probably have to watch what you're going against with only -1 rend, but 2 damage.
Yeah.
The Impaling Talons has 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, -2 and 2 damage. So I think that's pretty fair. However, this model really shines with all of the extra abilities that it has.
Yeah, and its points cost, I think it's value. I think.
So is this 260 or 280? Dexcessa is 280, and I think this is very good value for what you're getting here.
Yeah.
So this model can run and still charge, or retreat and still charge.
So good.
It moves 12.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you can't bog it down in combat. If it doesn't like the fight, it just retreats out and then they'll charge somewhere else.
Not only is that one way to try and pin it down that you might struggle against, how about mesmerizing Lepidoptera? God, yeah. -1 to hit.
Yeah, just and no, because they're only 10 wounds, they're not degrading either.
No.
So in 1 wound, just as deadly.
Yeah. Scepter of Slaanesh. Don't take battle shock for Slaanesh demon units wholly within 12. And in addition, once per turn, this model can issue a command to a friendly Slaanesh demon unit without a command point being spent. So that's pretty good. It does help Slaanesh demons.
It also means that they can give themselves reroll 1s every turn.
Yeah, if all-out attack is still a thing in 3.0.
Yes.
But what's interesting here, it says, once per turn, this model can issue a command. We've never seen it referenced as issuing a command before. So this is definitely wrote with 3.0 in mind, I think.
It seems that way.
However, that's all pretty good for 280 points.
There is one wee ability you've missed there. So
yeah, exactly. Joyous Battle Fury. After this model has fought for the first time, at the start of each battle round, add 1 to the attack characteristic of this model's weapons for the rest of the battle. This effect is cumulative.
Yeah, that's what we like.
Actually, I've just realised, Grant, it doesn't stack. So I thought, turn 2 you could go up to 6 attacks, turn 3 up to... You can't. It's just an extra +1, so you'd have 5 and 3 attacks after the first time you fight.
So why is it cumulative then?
This attack.
Yeah, no, yeah. After the model is fought for the first time, then from every
at the start of
each.
Wow, okay, yeah, actually.
Yeah, so you can get into combat turn 1, which...
Bearing in mind you can run and charge.
Yeah, then every turn after you're gaining an extra attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So turn 3, you're looking at 6 attacks on the Scourge and 4 attacks on the Impaling Talons.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to let this thing run around.
No. If I was to get one of the two, I would probably pick Dexcessa out of the two.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one.
But Synessa's not bad either.
No, not at all.
So this one is more the caster and buffer, hence the voice of Slaanesh. Okay, movement 12, 4 per save, only 9 wounds. Missile weapons is a staff of Slaanesh. Basically, you pick an enemy unit, and the unit's owner rolls a dice. If you roll less than the save, it does D3 mortal wounds. If the roll is
D6 if you roll less.
Oh, sorry. If you roll equal to or greater than, then it's D3 mortal wounds. But on a 6, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So unless your opponent rolls a 6, you are definitely doing mortal wounds.
Yeah, and you've got a fair chance of doing D6 mortal wounds as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, whilst bigger units like Alarielle the Great Demons, obviously Nagash, they've got like a 3-up save, right? But if you pick something sort of middle of the road with a 4 or 5-up save, you've got a good chance.
But even then, sometimes if you just need to put a few mortal wounds onto something, I've still got a fair chance of doing it.
Yeah, as well. So because it goes on the save characteristic, it would mean that if, for example, Catacross, even if he's used Supreme Lord of the Bone Reaper Legions, his save characteristic is still a 3.
Yeah, still, if he rolls a 2, he still takes the damage.
Yeah, so pretty decent. Subtract 1 from hit rolls, same as the other one. Voice of Slaanesh. If this model issues a command to one friendly unit, it can be anywhere on the battlefield. If you do it to multiple units, you can pick one unit anywhere on the battlefield. In addition, if you cast Whispers of Doubt, which is their own spell, or Pavin of Slaanesh, the enemy hero that you can choose to affect can be anywhere on the battlefield. Well, what does Whispers of Doubt do, you say? Well, if you do cast it, and it's only casting value of 6, you roll 3 dice, and if you beat or equal the hero's bravery characteristic, your army gets +1 to hit rolls against that hero.
Yeah.
That's not
it's a really
bad.
Really nice buff piece. It's not the easiest thing to do, to beat bravery, but you've got 3d6 to do it, so probably more often than not you're going to do it.
So you're probably going to beat anything with 8. Probably. 10 you're kind of risking it, but it is there. Who wouldn't want 30 Demonettes having +1 to hit against Nagash?
Probably the person not playing 30 Demonettes.
There is that. The battalion, we've got the Exquisite Pursuit, 1 Contorted Epitome, 1 Fiend unit, and 1 Seeker unit. And basically, the Mirror can pick 1 enemy unit that is within 12 and more than 3 away from any other units in your army. Roll a dice for each model in that unit. If that unit has a wounds characteristic of 1, each 6 that you roll, you suffer 1 mortal wound. If the unit has a wounds characteristic of more than 1, each 6 is D3 mortal wounds. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's alright. It's not bad. So, apologies about the pace that we're going here, but there's a lot in this book to cover.
We've still got a fair few bits to do.
So, the free city of Excelsis. I'm going to hand over to Grant for the battle traits and command traits here. And if there's something that stands out, we'll probably point these out, because obviously there's a lot of stuff to cover here. Yeah.
So, Free City of Excelsis. It's nice that it's in the game now, because it's been in the novels for a wee while. So you've got to be from Gur, And you've got the Gift of Prophecy. So once per phase, when you pick a friendly unit to shoot or fight, you roll a dice. On a 1, you're -1 to hit, but on a 2 to 6, you're +1 to hit. So a bit of risk and reward, but again, generally speaking, you're going to get that +1 to hit. And then the command ability you can do is one friendly unit wholly within 12 of a hero, unmodified save roll of a 6 is a mortal wound back.
Nice.
So yeah, free iron fists for a command point. And then the command traits. So they've got Cunning Foe, so the general can retreat and still charge. But if you do, you get +1 to hit rolls on your attacks and -1 from your enemy attacking you. So that's quite nice.
Very nice.
Yep. You've got the pick up D3 friendly units and set them up again at the start of the first battle round. I'm never... If it was a flat 2 units, maybe. But D3, I just always think it's a bit of a... You're giving up... I wouldn't give up the retreat and charge for that, because I think that could be great on a Griffin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you've got Darkest Secrets, so you can pick an enemy hero within 3 inches of the general at the start of the combat phase, and they can't use any combat ability, any command abilities until the next combat phase.
I can't see any reason why you would not pick Cunning Foe.
Yeah, and well, unless you're not picking a fighty general.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're picking a general and Griffin or something like that, or a Black Dragon, I think that's exactly where you go.
Absolutely. The artifacts are okay. So the Glimmering, once per battle before you make a hit roll, wound roll for an attack made by a bearer, a save roll for an attack that targets the bearer, or a run or charge roll for the bearer, you can say that you will foretell the result, and you just simply place the dice down on what you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's good. If it's a 2d6 roll, you put the 2 dice down for what you want it to be.
So it's a once per game destiny dice.
Yeah. Rockjaws is okay. It does some damage within range. It's okay. However, number 3, the Griff Feather Charm is back.
It is.
Exactly as it was. -1 to your hit rolls and +1 to your bearer's move. Brilliant.
So you're going to put that. Well, the thing is, you can't even... Yeah, you could put that onto your free-roll general and a Griffin, and I was -2 to hit.
Unless they change it to 40k rules where you can only have a -1.
Yes. But as of right now...
As of right now...
We don't know yet, but assuming if that doesn't change, then yeah, you can be retreating out. So you're charging, you're -1 to hit. You retreat out, you charge back, and you're -2 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. The spell laws. There's the Amber Spear to beam straight line, does wounds to stuff over it. Flock of Doom, you can do various mortal wounds to some enemies. However, Cower. Cower has a casting value of only 6, Grant. Pick one enemy monster within 12 of the caster that is visible to them and roll 2d6. If the roll is higher than the monster's bravery characteristic, that monster cannot make a charge move.
Nope, don't like that. Nope.
If I was playing cities, I would love that spell. But because me and Grant tend to play similar armies, I don't like that either.
No. I like my monsters.
Yes. It's a good spell.
It's a great spell.
Yeah.
Just being able to shut down some horrific monsters coming in to eat your face is brilliant.
What, you mean like a certain horrific monster that's 760 points?
What's his bravery again?
It is 10, but
yeah,
there's still a chance.
There is. There's always a chance.
Right. Now we're moving into realms of the unknown that I have no idea about. So we've got the Witch Hunters.
Yeah, where did I put that?
Unfortunately, just me, I don't have... This is very sort of Warhammer Quest Mordenheim feel.
Yeah, this really feels like...
It's not for me.
I always thought when they revealed these that these were going to be Cursed City models. But we will speak about Cursed City.
You're not allowed to. Shh.
No, we'll get cancelled. Yeah, so I've not had a chance to properly read into these because I find it hard to get excited about them.
Yeah, well, they both ignore wounds on a 5.
Yeah,
Both got 5 wounds
Galen,
each. Both got a 4-up save.
Yeah, they're like Galen's got a pistol, so 3 shots, 3s and 3s, -1, 1 damage, and a broadsword. 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. You can retreat and still shoot or charge. This seems to be the book for that ability. Double the damage if he's fighting a wizard or a demon.
Yep, which is pretty good. And he can attack an endless spell.
Yeah, I'm just reading that.
It's okay, but he's 100 and odd points, and he's basically he's a Warhammer Fantasy Inquisitor.
Yeah, I mean it's I like the idea of him shooting an endless spell and it goes away.
Yeah,
I think that's potentially quite fantastic.
However, Duralia, she doubles the damage when she attacks as well. Bear in mind she's got a crossbow, which is already 2 damage.
Yeah, so she could really snipe out a support character.
Yeah, and again, she's got the same ability. She can actually.
And if you have it moved, you get to fire the crossbow. You get 2 attacks with the crossbow and +1 to hit.
Yep.
So yeah.
They're okay. They're very thematic if you're running a city's army, I suppose. But unfortunately, that's about as far as my interest goes with them.
I do think they're nice models, and they're quite characterful. It's interesting they brought them back because they wrote out the witch hunters and the flagellants and all that.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago now.
So speaking of nice models, the best model in the book.
Okay.
Lord Kroak.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
He's amazing. The model
is
phenomenal.
I mean, the worst thing they did was reveal the Kroak model so close to Kragnos.
Yeah.
But obviously they're in the same books, but we're always going to have to see both of them together, but it really did overshadow Kragnos.
I wasn't too familiar with Kroak's old war scroll. And I believe he was a few less points. Wasn't he like 380 before?
Yeah. He was a bit... he was considerably cheaper before.
So what
he's also...
Sorry, go ahead.
Arguably maybe more survivable now.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's 50-50, to be honest.
Right.
So... the Arcane Vessel hasn't changed. The Azerite Force Barrier hasn't changed. So they're dead for innumerable ages, because Kroak's already dead. So at the end of each phase, if any wounds or mortal wounds are allocated to this model, roll 3d6. Add the number of wounds and mortal wounds allocated to this model to the roll. On a 20+, this model is slain. On any other roll, everything's healed. However, if you do 18 wounds to Kroak, which is the characteristic, he's dead anyway.
Yeah, because the minimum you can roll is a 3.
Even though you don't even need to roll.
Because you know.
No more wounds, he's immediately slain, and no dice or rolls are made at the end.
Okay.
So
the problem that I have with this, right, is you take 1 wound. Oh my god, I've just worked out how to win Age of Sigmar.
What, wound Kroak?
No. Get Lucy to play Seraphon, right? Get her to do this roll, and it's Lucy. She'll roll 3 6s.
That's a war crime. If Lucy plays Seraphon, it's Geneva Convention.
She shouted something, but I can't hear her properly because I've got my headphones on. But if I do 1 wound and she rolls 3 6s, that's 18 plus 1 is 19, which means Kroak is removed from the table.
No, he's not.
Why?
It has to be on a 20+ for the roll.
Okay, well, I do 2 wounds.
Yes, you have to do 2 wounds.
But still.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yes, he's got 18 wounds, but if I do even just 5 or 6 wounds and you roll high on your 3d6, he could be gone.
Yeah. That's very scary, actually.
Now, obviously, you can get around that by adding some Saur's Guard to your army to shrug off the wounds that Kroak's taken. But he's already gone up in points, so you're still adding more points to your Kroak situation.
Yeah.
And I think everything else is the same. 3 dice and a 4+, you get a command point. +2 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding, and you can unbind anywhere on the table.
and can cast an Unbind 4.
Yeah. He knows all the spells now, which I think he did before, but I'm not sure. All he ever did before was cast Celestial Deliverance and just Mortal Wound everything. So.
Yeah. And then, of course, some people played it the opposite way, I think, before the new Battle Tome, where you basically just stacked up summoning points with him.
Yeah, which you can still do. It just tends to be that people often play Coalesced.
Yeah.
For that -1 damage, so you don't get to summon instead.
Yeah. Still a beautiful model.
I think he's a stunning model, but I want to see him. I want to see some games of him first to see if he does kind of disappear as wanningly quick as he could.
Yeah.
But he is old. Again, he's 400 points for the size of the model he is and the force he is on the table. I think he's still probably a good deal.
Absolutely, he's a quarter of your army rather than a third that some of the others are.
Yeah, you're going to need to put in some bodyguards for him. That's really the only thing you need to make sure you do.
Yeah. Moving on, though, we've got some Skaven bits and pieces.
So I'm not overly... I've looked at Skaven a number of times, but I wouldn't say I'm overly familiar with them. But I do like this new hidden weapons team rule.
Mm-hmm.
So when you select a weapon team, other than a warp grinder to be part of your army, you can pick one friendly unit of clan rats or storm vermin that has 10 or more models, and that weapon team can be hiding in the unit.
Nice.
So you can hide one weapon team for every 10 models in a unit. So if you've got a unit of 40 models, you can have 4 weapons team hidden in that unit.
So this is like Loon Smasher Fanatics.
Yeah. And then in the shooting phase, they jump out and shoot.
And then you whiff your entire shooting and are stood there 6 inches away from your opponent with nothing to do.
Well, no, because this is Skaven, and you just go more and more warp power and blow yourself up and kill the opponent at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. There is also new Clan Molder rules for mutations.
Yep.
Which I have not seen anyone. I've seen a couple of Molder lists online, but I'm sure they'll get fun out of this. The battalion, I don't think, is that exciting.
No.
Reroll hit rolls for attacks with the Doom Rocket and +1 damage, and then +1 damage to the Shock Gauntlets used by the Stormfiends if they're within 12 of the Bombardier.
But am I correct in thinking that they changed Stormfiends so that now only 1 in 3 can take each of the special weapons?
Yeah,
so,
you're limited in what weapons you can have.
And then we've got a battalion for Beasts of Chaos and 2 War Scroll updates as well.
Yeah, and new battle traits update as well. So the battle it's quite exciting because I love the Beasts of Chaos army. I started to collect them a while back. Never got back into it because they are not very good and very expensive. But I have goats. I want a goat army. So Gore Battle Fury. You can now reroll charges for units that are in ambush and are set up in the same turn. So you've always had that ability to come in from the side, but you'd still have to make a 9-inch charge. Now you've got a 9-inch rerollable charge.
That's good.
Yep. And I'm sure that I think there's ways to buff that as well. Warherd charge. So in a friendly Warherd unit, so that's like your Bulgors, your Gorgons, Cygors, Doombulls, your big cows. Make a charge move, pick 1 in unit within 1 inch of that unit. Add 2 to the dice roll if it's a hero, or the unit of Warherd has more than 3 models, and on a 4-up, the enemy takes D3 mortal wounds.
So you could get
on a 2-up. Yeah. If you got your Doom Bull or a unit of 6 Bulgors, you're doing that on a 2-up, which isn't bad.
Nope.
Then Raging Storm for your Thunderscorn. So at the end of any combat phase, you can roll a dice for each friendly Thunderscorn unit that's on the battlefield. Add 2 to the roll if it's a hero, or more than 3 models, and on a 4-up you heal 1 wound.
That's fair.
So that's your Dragon Ogres and your Shaggoths. So you also roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of any friendly Thunderscorn units. Add 2 to the dice roll, and they take a mortal wound if they're a hero. Yeah. So you can heal or do mortal wounds. Now this was part of a battalion.
Right.
As it says here in the designer's notes, if you take the Thunderscorn battalion, Now, you don't use that ability, but you can re-roll the dice for the abilities.
Ah, okay.
Which is, again, chance to heal, chance to do some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, the Beast Lords had a change.
Right.
So his paired Man Ripper axes are still the same. Oh. Okay, so yeah, the Beast Lords had a bit of a change. So the Man Ripper axes are still the same.
Right.
But our abilities have changed. So we can now run and charge. Again, a theme we're seeing in this book.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Grizzly Trophy. So if any enemy models are slain by wounds inflicted by this model's attacks in the combat phase, you can add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Bray Herd units wholly within 18.
18's a good range.
Yeah. And in addition, if any enemy heroes or monsters are slain, you can add +1 to hit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Now, he used to reroll 1s because of his Man Ripper axes. I think that was he used to reroll hit rolls of 1, but he could reroll wounds for attacks that target a hero.
Right, okay.
So now, if you target a hero and you roll a 6, you get 2 hits instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't reroll 1s anymore, which means the Gave Spawn artifact that gives him +2 damage, but on a 1 you take damage, is not as good on him.
Because you run the risk of not being able to re-roll it and hurt
yourself.
But if all-out attack is still a thing, you could use that on yourself.
Exactly, and he's still got 6 attacks, then at that point doing 3 damage, 6 is doing 2 hits. So he can still jump in there and murder some things and give you your +1 to wound and maybe your +1 to hit from your Grizzly Trophy ability.
Absolutely.
So the Jabber Slights had a little bit of a change as well that I can see. It's Slithy Tongue. It's now 3 attacks. I think it was just 1 before.
Mm-hmm.
And the Aura of Madness has changed as well. So it used to be he could just, on a 6, you would just stop somebody casting.
Right.
Now it's you subtract 1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding within 6. So it's...
Yeah.
Well, it's a 1 in 6 chance to stop it, or a -1. I think probably -1's probably going to see more action, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in addition, each time an enemy unit within 3 of any unit in an army with this ability is chosen to fight, roll 3d6. If the roll is greater than the enemy unit's bravery characteristic, until the end of that phase, the unit is deranged. Add 1 to the attack's characteristic of melee weapons used by the unit that is deranged. However, if they roll any 1s to hit, they suffer a mortal wound.
That's cool.
So, again, you're buffing your enemy, but...
And the thing is, if they attack something with, for example, 4, 5, 6 wounds, like a Beast Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still have to actually roll all of your attacks before you remove the model.
Yeah.
So therefore, you still keep going.
Even if you take a unit, say you take a unit of Witch Elves, and you can even throw the Jabber Scythe into that unit. They're going to take a ton of mortal wounds from just rolling 1s, just based on the amount of attacks they're rolling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's pretty decent.
And then they got a battalion.
Yeah, the Butcher's Herd.
Yes. Which, I thought it was strange that they've given the Beast Lord a new War Scroll and the Jabber Scythe, and neither of them are in this battalion.
Who knows? Who knows
I
what
don't know
they're
if
thinking?
I don't know if either of them are plastic. They might both be fine cast. I'm not sure. However, your battalion is 1 Great Bray Shaman, 2 Bullgorge, and a Gorgon. So your abilities are +2 attacks characteristic of your Bray Shaman staff.
Yep.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I expect from Isa Chaos battalion. However, infused with Chaos Energy, +1 to hit rolls for Warherd units in this battalion are wholly within 12 of the wizard leader, the Bray Shaman. So you're finally getting that +1 to hit, and you're almost as good as Ogres, but still sadly not quite.
And it says 2 Bulgor units as well.
Yeah, so you could have.
So you can max them out.
Yeah.
But then staying wholly within 12 is not easy.
No, because they're on 50 mil bases. They're on bigger bases than Overcharge. And yeah. Beast of Chaos.
It's something for the minute.
Now you can see what I'm saying when I say it sounds like Kragnos is a Beast of Chaos model.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it should be. It's mad. Or like, why aren't Dragon Ogres and beasts should just be destruction?
It's because they worship chaos in an undivided sense, and you've got the Zangors and Slangors and stuff as well. I would be interested to see if they could try and make them into a destruction army, but I don't see it. They've always been a chaos. The Beastmen have been a thing for years on the chaos side.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the entire Kragnos book.
And the entire Broken Realms saga.
It is. When you compare what's in this compared to the Be'lakor book, like the Be'lakor book's got almost nothing in it compared to this.
No, there's almost too much in this book. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like this is like they've run out of time. Quick, throw everything in.
Yeah. In my opinion, this should have just been Kragnos. Maybe it's the Gloomspite, and then maybe one other thing, right? But instead, you've got Kragnos, you've got the Gloomspite, you've got Slaanesh, you've got your Beasts of Chaos, you've got your Skaven, you've got your Slaanesh, your Sylvaneth, and your Seraphon. You've got like 7 or 8 different factions in this book.
And very little destruction for Kragnos to be the god of destruction.
Yeah, exactly. You've got chaos and you've got order.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course you've got cities as well, so there's like 8.
Yeah. And there's no destruction boxes came out with this book either that I was expecting.
No.
It's all a bit strange.
Absolutely. I think completely agree. But nevertheless, that is Kragnos. Available to pre-order now, of course. Go and support your local wargaming shop, guys. Get it on order from them. I'll be interested to see what Lucy does with Allarielle. And I think our next game of Age of Sigmar will probably be with Allarielle.
I think it should be. Yeah, you definitely want to try Allarielle.
I need to see what she can do now.
Yeah. And just because she's got that 2d6 heal, with Lucy's rolling means she's going to be healing 12 every turn. So, good luck dealing with that.
Oh, God, yeah. And I mean, even if she ends up casting Regrowth as well, like, average is 10, Harry roll is like 4, and Lucy rolls the full 18.
Yeah.
At minimum, she's getting 12.
Yeah. I mean, she's going to rip through you with that Allarielle.
Thank you.
Hey, I've watched the videos. I can just go by what's happened in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it, folks. That is Kragnos. Thank you very much, of course, to my right-hand man, Mr. Grant Fraser.
Oh, not a problem. Always a pleasure.
And I'm quite excited about some of the stuff in here, and what potentially could be for Age of Sigmar 3.0. So go and check out the live stream on Games Workshop's Twitch channel at 6 p.m. tonight for everything that is in the box. Didn't mention anything about rules. They just said they'll show what's in the box.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Maybe a new destruction army.
That's been potentially heavily hinted at from.
It has. So thanks for watching, folks, and we will see you again very, very soon.